Hello, most excellent time traveler. You've just tuned in to my 1980s time loop. Welcome to the Nightwolf Den. I've got so many amazing things to show you from here, from VHS and games and consoles and arcades and board games and 80s toys and 90s toys. In fact, the first thing I can show you is a place I went to here in the 80s, which also overlaps with your timeline in the future. And you, I think, would probably call it a retro shop, but it's a mega retro shop. And it is Games Galaxy in Consett in the northeast of England. Let's get rad. Well, future dude, what a place this is. You'll be obviously calling it a retro place because it's in the future, whereas for me, it's a place where I can potentially buy some futuristic things which are a bit further forward in time than my usual 80s time loop, which I'm locked in. But for you, as being at a retro shop, the size of this place is probably bigger than you will even have around in England, or maybe wherever around the world you live. And although Consett is quite tucked away in the northeast of England, when you get there and you go up those stairs and through that very quirky Doctor Who door, if you like Doctor Who, you're going to love going through that door. The amount of different really rad things that are in that shop, it makes it a real treasure trove to have a look through. It's a real delight to go through and see what they have there. There's things like, there's Lego in there, there's something called a PlayStation, PS1 or a PS2. I have some of those games here as well, which we can show you in future episodes. But really futuristic things like that, and even some ones with an X on, which they haven't even put the name in yet, so I don't know what that number is, but it's an X and there was a box next to it, so whatever that is. There's Atari games. There's so many brilliant things through there, and it's wall to wall covered once you get up those stairs and go into there. Nice glass cabinets, so it gives it a kind of almost museum-like feel to it. And the nostalgia, which I'm sure you'll get from it, will be absolutely sensational. What a place that is to go. It's so exciting because it no doubt brings back all different memories. No matter which thing you pick up and see, it could be one of the board games. It could be some of the biggest toys that you've seen. And even if they weren't worth so much at the time, or my time here, which I can just go to Toys R Us or somewhere, you will see them again here. So there could be toys like the little tiger games, which are really popular here. There could be different Atari games, which are brand new, Nintendo systems, which are out. It really does feel like, for me, I get to experience all of the different future things that you no doubt know already and for a long time. But for you, I've got no doubts that it's going to be as if you were stepping back into some kind of time machine, whilst also having a few things from the future, like that X system. It is absolutely amazing. And everything's for sale. So anything you see there, and that includes, posters that are up and things that are standing, different models and things like this, it's all for sale. So if you see something in there that you really like and resonates with you, you can take that most excellent piece of 80s-ness or 90s-ness back home with you. And they have so many different things for different budgets. So if you would just have to, like I said, smaller Lego things, there's Nintendo consoles there from like Super Famicom, so you've got the Japanese ones there. It's not just UK ones, they have a range of different things. And if you just wanted a certain console, there was those popping up. Really old stuff, like something called a Dreamcast, that was there. Nintendo games with a big selection, and there's even a Super Nintendo, which I've got here as well, which I can show you in the future. And Star Wars collection things, again behind the cabinet, there were so many different things there. And there's a real flavour of all of the decade in there, that you could potentially buy whatever you like, some amazing things. The Nintendos behind the cabinet were cool because you've got things along with them, with like the Game Genie, so you could do lots of cheats with them, and different controllers, really obscure things as well. There was a little Tiger Street Fighter 2 game, the little LCD, which are big here in the 80s. You might think they're very old if you've got futuristic toys or consoles like that X thing with the box next to it, or they had things like the Tomy, like almost virtual reality type thing with that you can play. Again, that's out here. They had things like that in, and what else is good is that you got them in the boxes, so the original boxes. So in your future timeline, I'd imagine some of the boxes have been thrown away, whereas in there you can get them with the boxes. Obviously here in the 80s, you get boxes with everything, so I can go and pick up whatever, as long as it's out in this particular year I'm in. But for you, it might be more difficult to get the boxes. But in there was boxes on a Nintendo action set with loads of cool games underneath. Power Blade, Turtles was there, I'm sure, and there was things like a multi-tap, which you can play your friends on the same games. There's so many cool things in there. Mega Drives, there was lots of Mega Drive games. So Mega Drive is something in the future which comes out in the 90s, so it's still a few years away from here. But I managed to pick one of those up in one of the portals a while back, so I get to use that technology in the future. But you might be something retro for you. Some of the games there looked amazing. Those graphics, 16 bits, 16 bits. Wow, it's no longer 8 bits. Wow, doubled to 16. So, and that's like with the Super Nintendo. So Super Nintendos are there again in the boxes, and again just racks of these amazing looking games with the graphics are mind blowing. And it's 16-bit. It's crazy what is there. And there was even some there which didn't even have bits on them. It was just a green box. And there was these other almost spaceship-like consoles which just looked mad. But I guess you might be used to them there in the future. But everywhere you looked, there was trading cards, playing cards, some Pokeman or Poke person, Pokemon, is that what they were? Some of these things, which I guess you'll know about them in the future, and some really brilliant stuff, Games Workshop type things in there. So you had all the little figures and the different board games. Some board games I've never even seen before because they'll have been from the future. Some of them I have, like Dark World is one. I saw that there. I've got that here. So there are some ones from the 80s all over that shop, and it was really amazing to see all the cool things there. And it didn't just stop there at Nintendo and Mega Drive things. There was things like the most excellent Commodore 64, and so many different games on that rack that I could choose and take home and play. There was Predator in there, there was Robocop, there was Turtles, there was Miami Vice. There was some amazing, really cool 80s games in there. Operation Thunder, Operation Wolf, Operation Thunder. I think one of them is a one from the future. And along with that, Spectrum games were there. just absolutely beautiful to look at. And even some systems, some were boxed. An Amstrad was there with the screen and the keyboard, and some of those Amstrad games were there as well. So it was a big wide range of different consoles and game systems and things to just play. There was big box PC games. There was a nice little collection of those, which looked amazing graphics and processing power, which must be come through that PC. It was unbelievable. F-15 Strike Eagle, I think it was, that was there. Screamer. The graphics on that looked absolutely tremendous. Some really powerful stuff from the PC. Obviously here in the 80s, my PC won't be powerful enough for that, so even if I did get hold of it, I might not be able to play it. There was such a good selection of things for people. So for you, if you liked PC games from the early 90s, they were there. You could see a good few of them. I think there were about maybe 30, 40 games perhaps, all in the lovely big boxes and all just ready for you to play if you still got those systems in your timeline in sometime in the future, whenever you are. 2050 are you in? 2020, 2030, whenever you listen to this from. The choices were just really, really good. One of the owners of the store is called Nick, and he was explaining to people both in the future and to my hologram, which is kind of visible, but I just look like a normal human to him, even though I'm in a different time plane. And he was saying that they're just regularly getting different stuff in from people in your timeline to keep refreshing all the different things. I mean, there was things there, such a powerful system called a Neo Geo with massive cartridges. There was one of those there. The graphics on that just looked so futuristic, it was crazy. Unbelievable stuff. There was really cool TVs there from Bang & Olufsen, which is such a rad TV here in the 80s. And I'm sure you might have much better TVs there in your timeline, but I'm sure they still hold up to be one of the best, even whenever your timeline is. And because everything is for sale, you could easily just take home one of those Bang & Olufsen TVs and just start playing really rad games on the TV that evening, which is really cool. You don't have to find them or hunt them down or go somewhere far to collect them or anything like this. You can just go in, buy the TV that they're doing demonstrations on. You can have that. If there's a point of sale board, a cutout, you can ask about the price for them and it'll be for sale. Everything in the shop is for sale. So hearing Nick, one of the owners, say that, and all the different plans he has to do in the shop itself, sounded really, really quality. So it was a really good part of it, and he was always making everyone welcome in the shop. So you know that once you go there, you're going to be taken care of in both the things if you're trading them in, or if you're buying stuff, and just general knowledge about really rad things from here in the 80s or in the 90s. So big up Nick and his daughter for the really nice welcome and talking about all the different things from this era and the things that he gets in and the things that he'd like to do within the store. And there's some really cool things in the store that he's got lined up. So I can't say what they are, but they're really cool. There's a little couch that you can sit there and try some games out with lots of different consoles on the right hand side. There was a Dreamcast, there was a Nintendo, there was a Super Nintendo, there was some really futuristic looking consoles there as well, and they were all hooked up to the Bang & Olufsen TV. And to the left of them there was a wall of VHS. So if you still watch VHS, maybe you're on these future things called divids, or Blu-rays, you might be onto those in the future, whatever they are. We kind of have laser discs here and VHS. So the VHS were there to the left hand side near where that couch was, and there was lots of different things in there, some futuristic films. Wow, I saw some people that are from here in the 80s, and they're still going strong in those films, so that's really fun to see. And I picked up some of those. And speaking about pickups, I'm going to do another video and show you which pickups I took from the shop, which are very cool, but I'll show you those in the next video. And I'm pleased to be able to go in there and have such a selection of these things to choose from, and come home with a goodie bag full of really rad 80s and 90s things, which is really cool. There was even a mega console which was brand new. So for here I can go to a shop and in the 80s and just pick up something like that, unless it's from the future 80s, and then I have to wait till my time loop goes around to be able to get it. Some things I've done that in my collection, but on that one in there, it was £1,200 brand new. So in your future time, it will be a retro handheld, and the power that must have will be through the roof. So this visit and some of the things I picked up was absolutely class, and I'm really looking forward to going back next time. And big up to Nick and his daughter, who running a great shop there, and it's absolutely worthwhile going, and because it's a lot bigger, I guess, than I'm guessing in the future with your retro shops, what you'd probably be used to. So it'll probably be a lot bigger than you would think. Maybe not to maybe American sizes where all the shops are just so much bigger, but certainly in the UK, I think you'll find that it will probably be quite a big store for what you're used to, and of course all the different things in it are absolutely class. So tune in next time to see some of the bits I picked up, and let me know if you spotted anything in this video and some of the things that might take you back to this time here in the 80s or the 90s, or whenever you have a memory unlocked. Let me know you've liked this video on your tuning station or whatever you're using in the future, and don't forget to add the Nightwolf 1981 rad tunes to your playlist, or however you listen to it in the future. And stay rad, future dude.